There are those who love to overshare personal information, but according to the Sigma, there are some pieces of information that shouldn't be made so readily available to others.
You do not talk about Fight Club.
Those who meet the Sigma may at first actively encourage him to share, intending to help him, get to know more about him, or simply trying to be nosy. But after a while, they realize that their efforts are futile.
Go fuck yourself.
The Sigma prizes his privacy above almost all else, and while this makes him mysterious and intriguing to many around him, he remains steadfast on the small details he's willing to share and the things that he will take to the grave. The Sigma has good reasons for the things he keeps private, and in this video we'll be giving you 9 things that the Sigma male keeps to themselves that you probably should as well. Number 9. Personal life. The notoriously private Sigma male may share snippets of his personal life by divulging in the odd detail here and there, but for the most part he's very guarded about what goes on in his personal life, especially when people unfamiliar to him are poking around for information. In many ways, this is to be expected, as the enigmatic Sigma unintentionally draws intrigue from his mysterious and secretive persona. But this doesn't change the fact that he cherishes his privacy, as it allows him to focus on what's most important. Therefore, the Sigma is very clear with setting boundaries when it comes to sharing personal details. He doesn't want to give everyone a front row seat to his show and invite their unwanted opinions, potentially leading to feeling like he owes them explanations later on. As he doesn't rely on the validation of others, he keeps his personal business off social media. But also because he knows that you can't trust anyone with personal information. He firmly believes that a private life is a happy life, and you can't care about people's opinions when they don't know anything in the first place. Number 8. Past relationships. Preferring to keep details of his personal life private, this also includes information about past relationships. Whether you're a close friend or a new partner, the Sigma will avoid giving you many details about these, only sharing the bare minimum when it seems either essential or appropriate. He doesn't open up about his past relationships because these details can be used against him in the future or can be used to take advantage of him in some way. The way someone speaks about their exes says a lot about them too. It can show their true colors, or show that they don't know how to handle responsibility. Oversharing about past relationships can do just as much damage as oversharing details of your personal life in general. So the Sigma will carefully pick and choose which information he makes available, and is selective about who hears it. Number 7. His finances. Most of us don't talk about how much money we make, as it's considered some sort of social taboo. But no matter if we're talking salaries, savings, or debts, the Sigma male is fiercely guarded about all of his financials.
I expect to be well paid.
He's unlikely to ever open up about how much money he makes or spends, and won't appreciate being asked. He works hard to provide a good life for himself, but as far as he's concerned, how he does so and to what extent is no one else's business. He also considers the risk that being so loose-jawed about your income could welcome freeloaders who want to take advantage of you. Besides, bragging about money or what he has isn't the Sigma style, and it doesn't look good on anyone. Number 6. Material possessions. Having more things doesn't make people happier, but this can be hard to realize when we live in a society that's driven by consumption. Owning things only becomes important to people who have an internal void that they want to fill with external things, but these will eventually dissolve and leave them feeling pretty empty again. Instead, the Sigma attaches value to things like real-life experiences, genuine connections, personal challenges, and knowledge above material belongings, knowing that the latter does not bring you true happiness, fulfillment, or satisfaction. The things we want in life reflect our desires, and the more attached we become to those things, the more materialistic we become. The Sigma recognizes this behavior as unhealthy and damaging, and he's not going to be the one to encourage others to live in that way. Instead of focusing on possessions that only bring momentary happiness, you should replace them with experiences and relationships with people that value you. As Tyler Durden in Fight Club says, the things you own end up owning you.
That's right.
Number 5. His emotions. It's difficult for a Sigma to open up about how he feels. Showing vulnerability is not something that makes him comfortable, as often no good can come from wearing your heart on your sleeve.
All emotion is abhorrent to me.
But doing so, you open yourself up to being taken advantage of or coming across as having a lack of confidence, which can affect the possibility for certain opportunities. Therefore, he's able to hide how he really feels, control what he shows externally, and can keep up the charade for as long as is necessary. Once you get to know a Sigma, you'll find it becomes easier to read him, but this can take time as you need to develop a strong bond in order for him to feel comfortable enough to reveal himself. While, like the Sigma, you should be cautious about who you open up to, you must overcome the urge to completely suppress your feelings, as masking emotions can have some pretty significant effects on physical and emotional health. You prevent clear communication with people in your life, put strain on your relationships, and not only do your feelings become more intensified, but research from a 12-year study suggests a link between emotional suppression and death. So be guarded with your emotions, but also know when to open up. Number 4. His goals and objectives. The cogs in the Sigma male's mind are always turning. He's always striving for long and short-term goals, and although he may choose to share some of them with some people, he's unlikely to tell you much about them. Even though we are taught that it's good to share your goals and objectives with others on the notion that we'll be more likely to follow through, the Sigma knows that this isn't always the case. Besides, he's not competitive with anyone except himself, so isn't driven to share in this regard. And he doesn't feel comfortable with people knowing too much about him anyway.
You crossed the line, Alfie.
If he shares certain goals, then not only will he be opening himself up to potentially being taken advantage of, but he'll be putting more pressure on himself to succeed. He doesn't want to feel like he's in a position where he owes anyone an explanation if things don't work out. In fact, studies show that sharing goals prematurely or on impulse can lessen the likelihood that we will see them into fruition. And by vocalizing them to someone, we are tricked into a false feeling of accomplishment. Number 3. His opinions. We all have a variety of life experiences, but some people are hell-bent on sharing the wisdom they believe they have acquired, even if they haven't been asked. The Sigma feels passionately about most things, but doesn't feel passionately about sharing those thoughts with all, and he tends to be pretty unforthcoming when it comes to his opinions and judgments. He is controlled and disciplined enough to stay quiet, as he knows the value of silence and prefers to listen. The problem is that any time you give your opinion, there is a risk that what you will say will be misinterpreted, which can lead to grave misunderstandings. Being so candid and open with opinions lends itself to the possibility of creating awkward or even inflammatory situations, possibly negatively affecting relationships or preventing the development of new opportunities. Additionally, he's aware that opinions come from personal experience, so opinions can vary wildly depending on the person. They are completely subjective, and the Sigma prefers to operate on a more objective basis. Rather than just giving your non-expert opinion on something, you should consider walking the walk instead of talking the talk and showing what you believe by your actions. Number 2. His fears. Sigmas are really good at concealing their fears, which lends itself to his high level of confidence and self-assuredness. The Sigma leads with confidence in all areas of life, even when he's afraid. And that's one of the qualities that allows him to achieve the goals that fear tries to undermine. This confidence and rebuttal of fear also lets him communicate effectively with people who look to him for direction. Feeling fear would facilitate the breakdown not only of communication, but logic and reasoning, which are both systems the Sigma heavily relies on. This doesn't mean the Sigma is devoid of fear like some kind of android, but the crucial thing is that he has tons of masculine energy that overrides fear. Only one can dominate the other, and we can compare the way the Sigma male does this by looking at Beta and Omega males, whose personalities are characterized by the opposite. Their fear overrides their masculinity. In these males, this can lead to an aversion of risk and the development of low self-esteem over time. Sigmas don't let fear suppress their masculinity. Instead, they use their masculinity as a way to control their fear. Now before we get to number 1 on things Sigma males keep to themselves, make sure you share and like the video to help it reach more people and to let us know what kind of content you enjoy. Now finally, on to number 1, their next move. Sigmas live life on their own terms and don't like to let on what they have in the works. This is because he doesn't want to risk others trying to influence him or his decisions. He gets irritated when people try to take over and make him deviate from his own plans in any way that makes him feel like he's not in control of his life and decisions. So it's important that others don't know certain things about him or what he has planned until they are ready to. As much as the Sigma likes to live by his own rules, he invests time and energy in giving back to the world around him in return. But he maintains his independence by keeping important information close to his chest. This point also goes back to the idea that by keeping your goals private, you are more likely to accomplish them. And this goes for any move you're going to make next. The Sigma has many reasons to be discreet and secretive about what he has up his sleeve. And that brings us to the end of today's video on things Sigma males keep to themselves. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you're enjoying our content, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when we next upload.